You are listening to Bedtime Dreamy Tales. Please make sure you have subscribed to our channel for new story. Story title, The Golden Bird. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, nestled among rolling hills and lush forests, there stood a magnificent castle. This castle was home to a wise and benevolent king whose vast gardens were the envy of neighboring realms. The most extraordinary feature of these gardens was a magical tree that bore golden apples. These apples were not only exquisite to behold, but also held the power to grant eternal youth to anyone who consumed them. Every year, as the golden apples ripened under the sun's tender caress, the king made it his ritual to count them each day, marveling at their luminescence and pondering the secrets they held. However, a peculiar mystery began to unfold. Each morning, the king discovered that one golden apple was missing, vanished into the thin veil of night without a trace. Distraught and determined to unravel this enigma, the king commanded his most loyal gardener to keep watch over the tree. The gardener, a man of steadfast duty, agreed and decided to enlist the help of his 3 sons, each eager to serve their king and prove their valor. The eldest son was the first to stand guard. Armed with resolve, he positioned himself beneath the tree as the night unfolded its starry blanket. Yet, despite his intentions, the cloak of darkness lulled him into a deep sleep, and by dawn, another apple was gone. The following night, the second son took his turn, his heart set on succeeding where his brother had faltered. But, like a repeating echo, he too succumbed to sleep's sweet embrace, and morning light revealed the loss of yet another golden apple. The youngest son, witnessing his brother's failures, pleaded with his father for a chance to watch over the tree. Initially hesitant, the gardener eventually relented, his heart heavy with worry for his beloved son's safety. As night descended, the youngest son lay beneath the tree, his senses alert. When the clock tower struck midnight, a gentle rustling whispered through the air. Peering into the moonlit branches, he beheld a sight of wonder. A bird, pure and radiant as the sun itself, descended upon the tree, his beak glinting as it plucked a golden apple. With swift motion, the young man drew his bow and loosed an arrow towards the golden bird. Though his aim was true, the arrow merely grazed the bird's tail, causing a single golden feather to fall to the earth as the creature took flight into the night. The next morning, the golden feather was presented to the king, who, despite his advisor's exclamations of its incalculable value, declared it of no worth without the bird itself. Thus began the first of many quests that would test the courage, wisdom, and heart of those who dared to seek the golden bird. The eldest son, confident in his abilities, set forth on the quest to capture the golden bird. Not long into his journey, he encountered a fox, radiant and mysterious, who offered him advice on his quest. Despite the fox's warnings to avoid the allure of a grand end in favor of a modest one, the eldest son ignored the advice, leading to his downfall into a life of forgetfulness and decadence. Time passed, and with no word from the eldest, the second son ventured forth, only to repeat his brother's mistakes. Captivated by the same grand end, he too forgot his quest and succumbed to a life of excess. The youngest son, despite his father's fears, insisted on embarking on the quest. Unlike his brothers, he heeded the fox's advice, finding shelter in the humble inn and evading the temptations that had ensnared his siblings. His journey took him beyond the village, guided by the fox's wisdom, towards challenges and choices that would shape his destiny. The youngest son's journey led him to a series of trials, each designed to test his character and resolve. From the halls of a sleeping castle where the golden bird was caged, to the stables of a golden horse guarded by a slumbering stable hand, and finally, to the chamber of a princess caught between duty and desire, the young man navigated each trial with wisdom imparted by the fox. Yet, each victory was met with new challenges, as the king of the castle, enchanted by the prospect of impossible tasks, sought to keep the treasures for himself. The young man's faith in the fox's guidance saw him through these trials, leading to moments of betrayal and revelation that would ultimately define his fate. Upon returning to his own kingdom, the young man was confronted with the ultimate test of his character. Faced with the betrayal of his brothers and the task of proving his worthiness to his king and father, he demonstrated the virtues of forgiveness, wisdom, and true leadership. By saving his brothers from a grim fate and choosing to heed the fox's final advice, he avoided further calamity and restored harmony to his life and realm. The kingdom rejoiced at the return of the golden bird, the golden horse, and the presence of the compassionate princess, whose love for the young man had grown through their shared trials. Yet, the greatest surprise was yet to come. One day, while wandering in the very forest where his journey began, the young man encountered the fox once more. This time, the fox implored him to fulfill a strange request: to end his life. With a heavy heart, the young man complied, and as the fox's form fell, it transformed into a human. Before him stood not a beast, but the long-lost brother of the princess. Cursed and transformed, now returned to his true form through the young man's final act of bravery and compassion. The kingdom celebrated the return of the prince, and the king, witnessing the young man's unwavering courage, wisdom, and kindness, declared him the true heir to the throne. The young man and the princess were wed in a ceremony that symbolized not only their union but the merging of their hearts and destinies. The golden bird, the golden horse, and the once cursed prince stood as enduring symbols of the young man's journey from humble gardener's son to benevolent king. Under his rule, the kingdom flourished like never before, a testament to the power of compassion, wisdom, and the courage to follow one's heart. The golden apples continued to bloom, guarded not by fear, but by the trust and love of a king who had learned that the truest treasures were those gained through virtue and kindness. And so, the story of the quest for the golden bird became a legend passed down through generations, a tale of adventure, trials, and the transformative power of love and courage. The king, his queen, and their kingdom lived in prosperity and peace, their lives a beautiful reminder that even the most unlikely heroes can change the world with a pure heart and the help of a little fox's wisdom. If you like this story, please give this video a like and comment below with your thoughts. See you in the next story.